Howdy everybody, I'm Steve, and today on Livin' for a Livin', I am going to get this truck weighed. We did a weigh out on my last RV and truck combination, and I haven't done it yet on this one, so I'm gonna do it. A couple of things that I'm going to do differently this time though, because this is a weird truck. I am going to do a full fill up of diesel in the onboard tank, and then I have an external tank, and I'm gonna do a full fill up of diesel on that, which is gonna be our maximum load that we're going to have. The only thing that's missing is my passenger over there, but I know how much she tells me she weighs, so I'll use that in the calculations and we'll just keep that amongst ourselves. I also have the motorcycle on the front of the truck, which is an added thing this year that I didn't have last year. And since the gas station isn't that far away where the Catskills are, I'm gonna do this in 2 trips because we're already here, we're hooked up at the RV park. So I'll take the truck out, I'll fill up with fuel when I don't have the trailer attached, I'll weigh the truck with it full, and then when I get to the Catskills with the trailer attached on travel day, I will do a quick fill up on the diesel tanks, and then head over and weigh with the truck and the trailer attached. Let's get on the road. Before I leave the parking lot though, I am going to check my Upside app or my Mudflap app and see if there are any fuel discounts available. So far, I have saved over $200 just using these apps whenever they're able to be used, like not stressing out about it. That's not bad at all. I'll leave some links down in the description below for you in case you want to sign up for these things. They work whether you have a trailer or you're a tractor trailer or you're just a car. So save some money. Why not? Upside, searching my area. We have a 12-cent back on diesel. So let's check some more info on that. 14 cents back on regular, 12 back on premium, and 1 back on mid-grade. And sometimes Upside does stuff in the store. So like you can go and get fuel and then you can also go inside and get snacks and stuff, and Upside will help you out with that. Let's see, it is 3 miles away. Let's check Mudflap real quick. Find fuel. The nearest fuel, I don't know why they do this. Okay, so the nearest fuel is 3 miles away. There's this cheapest nearby thing. I bet Maverick paid extra for that, 153 miles. It would be more expensive for me to go and fill up at Maverick than I would save filling up at Maverick with this app. But 3 miles away is a Petro, 24 cents off per gallon, $3.16. And that's on Horizon Road. Let's go back to Mudflap. This is Motel Drive, 3 miles away, $3.27 versus $3.16. So Petro is actually cheaper. Petro Milan is $3.16 off. Diesel number 2, discounted only. Reefer not available via Mudflap. For faster checkout, enter your Mudflap code at the pump. And one of the differences between Mudflap and Upside, this might not matter for all of y'all, but for me, I'm gonna be putting a lot of fuel into the vehicle today. Upside only does $50 and you can only do it twice. So I can only get $100 worth of fuel with Upside per stop per day. I need to do a whole second day in order to get the rest of the tanks full. But Petro will have, since it's a truck stop, it'll have higher flow diesel pumps and it will allow me to do the entire fill up. So I am going to go 3 miles to Petro instead of 3.1 miles to Shell. I do like Shell gas better, but that's a personal preference thing and we can argue about that for days in the comments below. Let's get moving. All right, that sign says I-40 and New Mexico 53 is that way. And my GPS wants me to go that way to get onto, I love how you zoom in and it doesn't change that. 53, do I follow the GPS or do I follow the sign from the park? Aha. Okay, this is just a shorter trip to 53. So we'll go that way. Because it also says no right turn. There's the Loves with the Catskills, I believe, and we're going that way to the Pilot. And there's the Shell. And there's a Maverick that wasn't in the app. And then we go back to the truck lanes. So we're here at the diesel pump, and this is the Petro Milan 313, the one that it gave me the directions to. So I'm going to slide for a fuel code. or I'm going to tap for a fuel code. And then it gives you choices of things to pay with. And we have a debit card with no fee, so we'll tap on that. We'll slide for fuel code, and there is the fuel code that we enter in. This is going to expire in 23 hours, and this video is going to drop a couple of weeks from now. So if you want to try it, go ahead and try it, but it probably won't work. And some places you can do it at the pump, and some places you have to go into the fuel desk. This one here, you can do it at the pump, so I'm going to type it in at the pump. Enter smart code or enter number. My code is 8902953. Skip the phone number, and I want tractor fuel, and then I don't want DEF. Authorizing, and we're ready to go. So no payment. You just enter in that code, and the payment's taken care of on the back end. These pumps are usually pretty nasty, so have something with you to keep yourself clean or clean up afterwards. And it's got this big old nozzle on it too. And away we go. That's tank number 1. Now you know why I use fuel discounts. Why did that just change? Give it a couple more squeezes, every little bit I can in there. All right, she's starting to come back out on this side. So now we need to switch to the bulk tank. And this one's always fun to get the pump into. There we go. And then I do all that crazy lifting with the hose because sometimes that hose itself is dirty and then it gets black gook all over the side of my truck, so I can clean my hands. So real quick, if the fuel station is busy in the trucker lanes, when you are done fueling, just pull forward out of the way so the next guy behind you can get in and fuel up so you're not blocking anybody. But you can sit out in front for as long as you want, as long as the person behind you isn't ready to leave. And then it gives you a chance to do your paperwork and check your seatbelt and all kinds of other stuff that you need to do. Like this guy here leaving space for whoever comes in behind him. Pro move. And that right there is why I look for fuel discounts. $388 worth of fuel, 115 gallons. Whew, she's taking more too. Jeez. All right, we're done with that. Can I get an even 400 bucks out of it? Nope, I can't. And then I have a little fuel gauge right there that's telling me it's full. All right, now I am out of the way of the fuel pumps and I need to install the CatScales app because you can do this from your smartphone. Don't even have to get out of the truck. And then I got to figure out how to use it. CatScale, install the Weigh My Truck app. And it's 41 degrees, so I have to warm up too. Open the app, checking for updates. I can understand why this wants to know my GPS location so it can tell which CatScale I'm at. I'm going to allow it while using the app, and then I need to create an account because I've never done this before. Do not update account information while on the scale. True, that would be kind of rude. All right, profile information. I'm gonna fill this stuff out and we'll be right back. I hit the find my location by GPS. See if it's gonna find a scale for me. And if not, there is a number right on the scale that I just type in. The scale number. All right, I found my CatScale number. I'm at 826 Petro Shopping Center at the Horizon Boulevard. That is true. So you can't tap it to pick it. I'm just going to confirm. Tractor number 1, trailer number 0, commodity, freight of all kinds. Commodity, human beings. Is the driver in the vehicle? Yes. $14 to weigh, not bad. Sure, send me notifications and I'll turn it off later if it gets annoying. Allow permission to send alarms and reminders. Okay, so you have to have that permission on. Next. Is the driver in the vehicle? Yes. Weigh fee, accept, $14. Starting weigh request. Please pull onto the scale or contact Weighmaster for assistance. Let's go for a drive. And you win. I thought he was getting on the scale for a second. Check your mirrors, make sure all your tires are on the scale. I can feel the whole scale rocking. Please wait. Finalizing weighment. Do not pull off scale. Steer axle, 5,640 pounds. Drive axle, 4,880 pounds. Gross, 10,522 pounds. Your printed ticket will be available for pickup at field desk for 1 hour. Please note your scale ticket also serves as your receipt. 10,520 pounds. I actually thought this didn't weigh that. I thought this only weighed 9,000 pounds. Wow. And I have to add my wife into that. Don't tell her. All right, done. That was very easy. Your cat scales have a bunch of plates on them. You want to make sure your steer axle is on the front plate, your drive axle is on the second plate, and then your trailer axle is on the third plate or the fourth plate. But you definitely want to have one axle per plate, like I've got here. And then the rest is inside the app. I already showed you that, so I won't do it a second time. But it is my understanding that the second time through is a discount off the price of the first time through, so I'll find out. I gotta tell you, I think cat scales are awesome. I also really enjoy sitting at the back of the truck here and talking with you. I feel like I'm just talking to some old friends. Well, old, as in we've known each other for a long time, not old as in judgmental, you know what I mean. I went over the cat scales with my new truck and my new trailer. I did the weigh-in at Escapees in Texas with my old truck and my old trailer, and I found out I was about, I want to say from memory, 50 pounds overweight on the truck. And it is really easy to get overweight on your tow vehicle and your trailer because of all of the dynamics involved. There are so many different numbers: gross combined vehicle weight, gross axle weight, individual axle weight, tongue weight, whether you're using a weight distributing hitch or not using a weight distributing hitch. And I'm actually gonna check out in this video here how much the weight distributing hitch had to help, because I don't fully understand it and there is some controversy out there. Next time you're setting up your weight distribution hitch, give it a little bit of a test, especially if you have the kind with the bars and the chains going up like I do. Have your trailer flat and level with your truck, have everything hitched up, everything ready to go, and you'll feel that those bars are in tension and they're holding pretty good. Now, take your tongue jack and put your tongue jack down and make it go like this. And those weight distribution bars become super easy. You probably already do this when you're doing your connect of your trailer, so it makes it easy for you to get it all connected up and you don't need that big lever to get it lifted up there. Now, if it's really easy like this to shake those bars back and forth, what happens when your trailer's like this? You're putting a ton of stress on that front A-frame of your trailer. And I've seen some people say that that is very bad. So I actually get a little anxiety when I go down a big dip, and I kind of worry about that, especially with the length of my trailer and the amount of pivot that it could do. I can see how that would work, but I can't see how the trailer with no strength other than just weight, which is already hitched up, is actually going to apply force to the truck hitch to move that weight to the front axle of the truck. But again, I always like to test things. I always like to find out. I always like to share those things with you. So make sure you're subscribed for stuff like this, because I'm going to show you whether it did or whether it didn't make any difference at all. As far as cat scales go, they don't care what kind of truck and trailer you're driving. They just want to get their $15 out of you and get you a little piece of paper in your hands and get the next person in line. For us though, as full-time RVers or even part-time RVers, it's probably a good idea to respect the trade and let the truck drivers have the first at it. So if you see that it's backed up, come back later in the day or just chill out and wait for a while. Don't take up too much space in the parking lot, because doing this process properly, you want to weigh the truck without the trailer, and then you want to weigh the truck with the trailer. I went to a truck stop on a day where it wasn't too busy, and I was able to do 3 weighs: the truck by itself, the truck with the trailer, and the truck without the weight distributing hitch attached to the trailer. So without further ado, let's get some of this information shared with you. One of the things that you want to do when you are doing your weighing is have your rig set up in its full tow mode. So in my case, that is the motorcycle on the front, that is a full tank of fresh water. My gray tank is empty. Lost one of my papers. My black tank has about 5 gallons of water in it, along with my tank chemicals. And as I'm going down the road, that helps things slosh around and helps things clear out. And then also I have an auxiliary fuel tank, so that is 100% full. And I have my regular inbound tank, and that's 100% full. So my inbound tank in my truck is 35 gallons, and my auxiliary tank is 91 gallons. So I've got a lot of weight on my truck to begin with, but I also have a really big truck. I've got a 2008 Ford F450. This thing's got a 26,500 pound towing capacity. We gotta share some numbers with you. Let's get the camera flipped around, I'll show you the paperwork. This is the truck all by itself. My steer axle has 5,640 pounds. My drive axle has 4,880 pounds, and the trailer was 0. So like I said, measured just the truck itself without the trailer. That comes to a gross weight of 10,520 pounds just for the truck and myself. One of the really cool things about this in the app is they asked me if I wanted one of these little cards. Check that out. There are little collector cards that you can get from the Catskills. Kind of a fun thing to do. Super Trucks Limited Edition. And on the back it tells you J. Van Campen from Poquoson, Virginia. It's a 1976 Kenworth W900A Bicentennial Edition. It's got a Detroit 12.7 liter diesel in it with a 13-speed Eaton Fuller transmission. Nice. That's pretty cool. Maybe they'll do it for RVers one of these days. Put that back in there, and then we will get on to the next one. And like I said, I got two of these. So this one is, okay, this is the one with the weight distributing hitch up front here. And so steer axle, 5,120 pounds. So somehow the truck got lighter with the trailer on it. And the drive axle is 6,800 pounds. So when I added the trailer, I put a bunch of tongue weight on, and we have increased the weight of the truck in the rear and lightened the weight of the truck in the front. And then the trailer here is 9,440 pounds. And the gross weight, so this would be your gross combined vehicle weight of your truck, the first two numbers, and your trailer, the second number, 21,360 pounds. And my tow capacity is 26,500 pounds. But again, this is the weight of all three of these numbers. My trailer is only 9,440 pounds. This is with the weight distributing hitch installed. So let's compare numbers here, because I came back and I did it again without the weight distributing hitch. Without the weight distributing hitch, we had 5,080 pounds versus 5,120 pounds. Nice. And then we had an extra 80 pounds on the rear axle. We were 6,800 pounds with the weight distributing hitch installed, and we were 6,880 pounds on the rear axle without the weight distributing hitch installed. So we transferred a whopping 40 pounds to the front axle. So we lost 80 pounds on the rear axle by putting on the weight distributing hitch, and we transferred 40 pounds to the front axle, and the trailer became 20 pounds lighter. And overall, I think that might be a margin of error on the scale. 21,380 pounds without the weight distributing hitch, 21,360 pounds with the weight distributing hitch. So I'm going to consider all of that to be like not a thing. But I would love to hear your numbers. Now, another thing we need to do is we need to check the placards on the driver's side of the truck and see how they fare out, because that's where all the real useful information is. So where do you find those? They're inside of the driver's side door. We got a whole bunch of numbers up here. We have the gross axle weight rating for the front of 6,000 pounds. We didn't exceed that. We have the gross axle weight rating for the rear of 9,500 pounds. We didn't exceed that. We have a GVWR, gross vehicle weight rating, and this is the weight of the truck, which we found was about 10,000 pounds. So that leaves me with 4,500 pounds of cargo capacity. And then where is it? It is down here on this one with the tires. The combined weight of occupants and cargo should never exceed 5,731 pounds. So there is my total cargo capacity for myself, my wife, if you got a dog, if you've got some kids, if you're bringing bikes and grills and food and so on inside the truck, if you've got your truck bed loaded down with fun things to do like kayaks and canoes and stand-up paddle boards and so forth. Plus, this is the thing that a lot of people don't get, plus the tongue weight of the trailer. So you have to add the tongue weight, plus all of the cargo, plus all of the people, plus all of the fuel, which is why I filled up both fuel tanks in my truck. So you'll find a lot of people that are weekenders with the smaller towable RVs that have the F-150s or the 1500 series trucks. They actually are over their carrying capacity on their truck, and they don't even know it because they're just looking at the tongue weight of the trailer and not factoring in the human weight of the human cargo inside of the truck and the accessories that go with the humans that are inside of the truck. So hopefully you found some information on this. Please leave some comments down below. Let me know what you guys find when you go over the Catskills, and I definitely want to hear from you about your thoughts on the weight distributing hitch. Maybe in my case, because this is an F450 and it is designed to be towing and hauling big stuff and has the dual rear wheels, that's hard to say, the dually axle in the rear, the weight distribution hitch isn't strong enough to transfer any weight. Or maybe it's all just a myth anyway, and I don't know why everybody's going along with it. It's a conspiracy. Make sure you're subscribed so that you can get notifications when new videos come out, and I will see you in the next video right over here.